Okay, Sistas fans is okay. Oh god. I don't know what to say. Season 5, episode 3, No Stress. A line that Karen's mom laid out. Andy and Danny get to the bottom of things with respect to Sabrina's whereabouts. Should I just say it was Andy doing all the work? Fatima suspects that Zach has residual feelings for Karen and confronts him. Yeah, wasn't a fan of this episode. Was it better than last week? Yeah. 4 out of 10, because last week, what did I give it, a 2 out of 10? Let me put it this way. The only parts of the episode I actually liked was the looming arrival, the foreshadowing of Madam. Fatima giving backstory in her family, loved it. I had a great time tweeting last night. Crystal even liked and retweeted a couple of my posts. It was good. But in terms of the episode itself, yet again, Tyler wrote a bulk of the characters to be insufferable. And I wish I understood. Like, I get it. Like he said during the Sistas After Show, don't you trust my writing that I have a method behind how I'm doing things? I just don't see it yet. I believe there is some purpose, I guess, but as of right now, season 5 ain't it. It ain't it. And I put out that tweet yesterday afternoon after I finished watching The Oval. I said, yo, The Oval season 4 is kicking Sister season 5's ass. Let me wait until episode 3 tonight to decide, if that statement still stands. And folks, say what you will about The Oval. It's kicking Sister's ass, in my opinion. See, I know season 4... some people are like, I can't follow the story. It's not making any sense. To me, season 4 is a masterpiece compared to The Oval season 3. And it's outdoing Sister season 5 because I really don't know what's going on. Continuity makes no fucking sense. Sorry for the foul language, but I'm literally just trying to piece it together because and I mean like at 8:57 last night, because I had a screenshot from the preview for last night's episode of Deja in the gym, and I said something to the effect of I'm actually on Twitter right now. In case anyone asks, Deja's in Sistas despite Fatima not having moved in with Zach or even being engaged to him yet, due to Zatima being a separate continuity. Yes, it is a bit confusing, but just think of them as 2 separate shows, but with similar characters, which is pretty much a way of paraphrasing what DeVal and Crystal, co-signed on this, said during a live stream prior to, well, I want to say around the time Zatima, the first week of episodes came out on BET Plus over a month ago. And Crystal, retweeted that, pretty much yet again confirming that think of Sisters and Zatima as 2 different shows. Because they are 2 different shows, but it's not the same continuity. But then in last night's episode, I thought Deja popping up, because we heard the music she was playing last week, but her popping up, I thought that would just be the only thing. But then when Zach started running off about Ian stuff, I'm like, wait, so that thing about them going jogging and running into Ian at the park actually happened in Sisters? And then when I saw Fatima getting ready to go to the gym, I'm like, wait, has she moved in with Zach already? I'm confused as hell. I am. And look, I know I'm not supposed to overthink it, but it's difficult not to do that when it's all in your face. Especially, I guess if you watch Zatima, it's supposed to make sense because you're able to fill in the blanks, but I'm confused as all hell. I know DeVal said, think of it this way, don't overthink it. Whenever you don't see Zach and Fatima during a episode of Sisters, like they'll be in an episode, but when they're not on screen, just think of it this way. All these Zatima stuff from the BET Plus series is happening off screen. So like if we're at the law firm, well, no, that's not the best example because, Fatima works there. If we are at the airport, at Karen's salon, or, something like that, or over at the penthouse with Andy, that's when Zach and Fatima stuff is happening. Like, oh, the whole Belinda stuff, or, Zach at the basketball court with the guys, or at this party and whatnot. So it just would really help if they streamline the continuity. That's all I'm saying. And look, I know I haven't gotten to the episode yet, but let's be completely honest. Is there anything to really talk about? Really? Aside from Fatima hinting at Madam? That's it. Everything else is pretty redundant. So here we go with the actual episode for those who care. So, didn't I mention this in my review, my trailer breakdown last week, or at least in my Twitter last night? Okay, these are women and men in their mid to late 30s, give or take. Why is it when somebody walks in on them, unannounced by the way, these grown-ass adults act like horny teenagers who got caught when a parent walked into their room because the door was unlocked and they didn't knock? I'm still like thinking, how the hell did Danny get up to the penthouse without, needing to be buzzed up by Andy? And then she even goes, I told you I was coming, and I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Like, I don't believe that Danny told Andy over the phone last week she was going to come by. All I know is I believe Andy said, don't go by Calvin and Maurice's apartment. No, don't do that. But I don't recall her saying, I want to come by the penthouse. I don't remember that. So for her to just bust in there, and Danny was working my nerves this episode, in my opinion. I know some people said, no, she's not. She's acting like a concerned friend. No, here's the thing. No, let me stay on my point first, then I'll get on Danny. First of all, yeah, I don't get the point of grown men acting like, horny teenagers who got caught making out. So then Gary runs to the bathroom. Secondly, why is it that the man always has to leave? Like whenever one of the sisters is, as Andy put it, enjoying personal festivities with their man friend, and one or more of the other sisters barges into their house or apartment unannounced, the man has to leave despite them being rudely interrupted. How the hell does that make sense? So from there, and this is how I knew this episode wasn't going to be good. Like the first scene, I always judge it by the background music. When I heard that boom, 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 that goofy ass shit, and I'm like, Danny just kept running on the mouth. Thankfully, Andy was self-aware, talking for the audience. Okay, Danny, like, how long is this going to go on for? Because she just kept running on and on and on. So, real quick, Andy goes into the restroom to tell Gary he has to leave, and then hey, wait, can I come back? No, not tonight. We've done enough for the night. And then Gary just leaves. And, Danny just feet up, drinking the alcohol and whatnot. And Gary's like, yeah, there you go, chilling, drinking the alcohol I bought and everything. And then she's just rolling her eyes. And it's just ridiculous. Like, Danny has some nerve. Okay, so we spend like 5 minutes of her like chastising Andy about, oh, you don't care about your friends. You're up here with this Nigerian and whatnot, but I still don't like him. And what about, have you checked on Karen? Have you heard from Sabrina? Have you checked your phone? So for someone who is concerned or acting concerned about getting Sabrina out of jail as quickly as possible, why are you spending like 15 minutes trying to patronize and talk in circles with Andy instead of getting right to the point? For someone sitting on a high horse, Danny just needs to be knocked to the ground in terms of her morality. Because think of it this way, because somebody tried to argue with me on Facebook about this last night. Logan said, I can't tell you anything because of his job. He doesn't want to lose it. But what I can say is, tell Sabrina to get a good lawyer. Did Danny do that? No. All she did was go over to Sabrina's. What was this? On the same night that she met Bio during that double date, which only lasted a few minutes. And she said, are you doing anything shady at that bank with them white people's money? And then Sabrina's like, no. Oh, never mind. And then the next morning, I think Sabrina went over to Danny's place because she was nervous as hell. And Danny's like, well, look, if you ain't doing nothing shady, don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fine. And then she got arrested. Not once did Danny say, get a good lawyer. She never said that. So for her to act like Andy is the one who doesn't care, Andy is the one who, isn't looking out for her friends, I thought was disgusting. And then the fact that it went on for so damn long. Yes, Andy missed some phone calls, but like she said, even if she had answered her phone earlier in the day or thought something was up with Sabrina, because Sabrina hasn't stood before the judge yet, there's nothing she can do. She can't go to see, nobody can go to see her. Nobody can provide the legal representation or nothing at this time. So Danny just, acting all concerned and worried. This is just like the Q thing. You got Calvin who's acting like, oh my God, we got to get him out of here. When before you didn't do what you were supposed to do, which was call the cops. You invited him in. Now Danny is like, all you had to do was tell Sabrina, hey, get a good lawyer. You didn't do that. All you spent your time doing is joking around and whatnot. So to get on Andy, that just got on my damn nerves. That was just way too much. So speaking of the Calvin thing, he goes to the gay bar, talks with Chris, and Chris informs him about the Q thing. Like, yo, Q betrayed him, set him up, and he's in the county jail, but this is a federal crime, so I don't know what the situation is. So Calvin decides to go back to the apartment, and he confronts Q, who has a girl in Maurice's bed. Like, this fool has the nerve to set up Maurice, have him sent to jail, and now he's in his bed with a woman. And, Chris is, adding comedic commentary, I suppose. I really didn't, he's gay, so he's acting a certain flamboyant way that Tyler Perry writes these characters. That's all I got to say about it. Oh yeah, I do like the nod, the little Easter egg about how Chris mentioned he was a football player. The actor who portrays Chris, the bartender here in Sistas, he actually was in the Game Season 1 reboot. Vaughn, or Barry from The Oval, who plays on the game. This actor, Chris, he was on the football team that Malik and Barry or Jameson play on. So I do like that whole, I played football. I'm like, there he goes. Yeah, continuity. But in any case, Calvin confronts Q about the whole setup. And also before that, when they first got back to the apartment and Calvin was yelling Q, and then he snapped on Chris, Calvin, your voice had a bit too much femininity to it. I'm just saying, like, you want to call out, Chris and Maurice for being a certain, too flamboyant and whatnot. I'm like, Calvin, did you not just hear how your voice sounded, bro? Come on. But you better put some bass into it. And then, Q's like, who you talking to in that voice? And I'm thinking to myself, this Negro has the audacity to try and act like this is his place. But after that ass whooping that's about to come, okay, so they get into probably the worst looking fight I have ever seen on this in a Tyler Perry project. So when Q refuses to back down because this fool slips up, it's like, did you set up Maurice? No, I didn't set him up. I didn't send him to jail. Who said anything about jail? Oops. Calvin shoves him, which leads to Q retaliating. And this was just embarrassing. There was a moment where, Calvin grabs Q's head, and I'm thinking, oh shit, is he going for like, cause I think Q had him pinned down against the couch, and then Calvin grabs him by the head, and I'm thinking, oh man, it's like Calvin going to go for like a headbutt or something. But then when I screenshot it, it literally looked like Calvin was trying to gouge his eyes out or grab his head to go in for a kiss, and I'm like, what the hell? So then from there, Calvin does manage to slam Q into the refrigerator, and then he pins him on the ground, and then Q flips him over and then starts beating him until Chris actually jumps in. The whole time he's screaming, guys, no, stop. And like I said, it's insert stereotypical Tyler Perry gay character line here. But then Chris manages to actually pull Q off of Calvin and cops a feel on his chest, and then Q isn't leaving. He simply, and then Calvin, after getting his ass beat, okay, he literally says this: if I find out that you had anything to do with setting up Maurice, I'm going to fuck you up. Chris literally told you Q set him up, and then Q admitted to it because he revealed, wait, I didn't send him to jail before jail was even mentioned. 2, Calvin, Q just fucked you up. What are you going to do? And then from there, Q just simply goes back to the bedroom, to his warm bed and warm bitch, and Calvin leaves. What the hell? And before that, Chris like, why don't you just call the police? Man, that's some white shit. Calvin, you just tried the quote-unquote black shit and you got your ass beat. It's time to call the cops. Oh, yeah, somebody actually said this too, because I said on Twitter, I'm like, okay, so if you don't want to call the cops, can you just call like the apartment security or the management to get Q out of there because he doesn't have his name on the lease? And somebody said, well, Calvin probably doesn't have his name on the lease either because he just moved in with Q not too long ago. So I don't know, that's possible. But regardless, he's a squatter and it's ridiculous. So this also made me mad because yet again, this is just another lazy bit of Tyler Perry writing, because there is no conceivable reason why Calvin should not call the police. This is just a lazy way of allowing Q's character to still stick around. You just have Calvin, oh, I'm not calling the police, and that's it. Like, what is he supposed to do? And I said on Twitter, I'm like, okay, so after that ass beating, what is Calvin the one who's going to be cooking dinner and washing the dishes? But no, this was just dumb. It really was. This was pathetic. All right, so from there we go over to yeah, honestly that's it. Oh, for the first part, I'm talking about like that night. Yeah, we go back to the penthouse. Andy's like, we can't do anything right now. And then Danny's trying to call Logan, you know, for as self-righteous as she is. Andy thankfully stops her. He's like, no, don't call that cop under any circumstances because you might unknowingly incriminate Sabrina even more, making things worse. So don't talk to him, don't call him, don't text him. Something tells me she don't want to do it anyway. So then the next morning, we see Fatima looking fine as hell, getting ready for the gym. And she wants to go alone. And she's talking about how, you know, I have my affirmations, my prayer, my meditation. So I don't want to talk about Karen and whatnot. So, you know, Zach wants to go to the gym with her. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so what about when you went to take that jog in the park with Fatima and ran into Ian? Zach, you better let her go alone. So, yeah, based on the end of the episode, Zach should not have gone with Fatima. So she talks about how she was raised by her grandma and her cousin wanted her to go down a road that she didn't want to, madam. So, again, we learn more about the gangster, you know, lifestyle that Fatima comes from, but she doesn't want to be a part of. And I put this on Twitter. I'm like, oh, Fatima being like the black sheep of her family, not following in their profession. That reminds me of Mitch from the Haves and the Have-Nots not wanting to be part of the Malones. And then Crystal is like, phew, that was a good analogy. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Because remember, Crystal was actually part of the wardrobe and the stylist for the Haves and the Have-Nots. So that's pretty cool. Okay. But in any case, it turns out that the guys who beat the hell out of Hayden, they're thanks to Madam. And like what Fatima said, my cousin wanted to do more, aka kill Hayden. So why did you spare him? Look, because he won't worth it. So yeah, just know that those goons, they were madams. And Fatima's like, you know what? I think you ought to meet my cousin. Oh yeah, bring her on. I was like, yeah, you know, I'm gangster, I'm hood. No, you're not, Zach. So they're going to meet. And I said this on Twitter. People like, Jeremy, don't say that. Madam's probably going to be attracted to Zach. Because Zach's like, wait, is that why my jail time and whatnot didn't bother you? Because your family's that kind of, they live that kind of life? Yeah. So, guys, the Madam Zach thing is going to happen soon. And keep in mind that Eva, Marcel, and DeVal, they work together on, I believe, a Christmas film that's coming to the OWN network next month, I believe. So, yeah, we'll see these two reuniting pretty soon, which is awesome. Okay, so moving forward, we go over to Zach actually being able to take her to the gym, which again, shouldn't have done that. This is a mistake. So from there, we go over to Danny calling, she either called or received a call from Calvin, basically trying to see where they're at with the situation and what are they going to do. So, you know, Danny's like, I have Andy on it. She's a lawyer. Yet again, you know, giving orders, but she really isn't doing much herself. And Calvin says, look, I got $20,000 in savings, so maybe we can use that to help get him out. So we have Danny making a joke at everything like, hey, meet me at this place, bringing in cash. Look, man, I'm going to keep that money, Calvin. But then another call comes in and it's Preston. And yet again, is it because, you know, I guess Maurice and Sabrina aren't going to be written into that many episodes that we're going to constantly throw in characters who don't belong anymore? So Preston calls Danny, and why? First of all, he's out of town, so we can assume he's in Texas, I guess. This man literally said, so you're really over me? And then Danny's like, look, I ain't trying to talk about this. I'm going through a lot right now. Can you meet me tonight to talk at dinner? This man is like, I will be back in town, aka I will fly back into town from Texas to have dinner with you about something that we really don't even need to talk about anymore. Tyler Perry assassination of characters. Just get rid of him. Look, I hate this because I love Preston. Put him on Zatima. Just anything but this, because this is sad. This is sad. All right, so then we go over to Karen and Miss Lisa. Nice scene. This was a nice scene, but it's one of those things where it's bullshit, because Ebony looked amazing in this scene. We had a nice, calm, quiet moment, but knowing the kind of person she is, and I'm talking about Karen, not Ebony, this isn't going to last long. So Miss Lisa made breakfast, talk about how, it was a stiff sofa and everything, and Karen needs a new one. But it didn't seem to have any problems all the times that her and Aaron attempted to get it on there, so I don't know. But she made her some tea, just trying to make sure her daughter isn't stressed. And I don't think we're going to see Karen at the salon anytime soon, because I think last week the doctor said if you could take a couple of weeks off your feet, not going to work, that will be a great way to help you make sure you're in a healthy state for you and the baby. But we have Karen saying she had a dream about Zach coming by, and Miss Lisa saying, well, he did, and I wouldn't let him see you. And she was like, yeah, maybe it's for the best. Wait, do you really think that? And then she goes on to say this: I just want to let him go. That's all. I just want to be over him, for him to do right by this baby and just move on. When I tell you that is utter bullshit. For the past season and a half, Karen has done the complete opposite of what she's telling her mother right now. And then I go on to say, because her mom comes up with this idea of, look, write, 2 letters, I believe, like, everything you think, everything you feel about both of these guys. And if you're calm enough, if you can handle it, I'll invite both men over here at the same time so we can just put it all out there. And then hopefully from there, you can move forward. Miss Lisa, this is a great idea. But first of all, this should have happened like multiple seasons ago. And your daughter isn't reasonable. She's not. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Zach and Aaron are going to come over there in episode 5, I think. Next week is 4, so that's the setup. Episode 5 is probably when they come over there. Karen's going to put it all out there. And I feel like it's going to be her saying, Aaron, you're a nice guy, but I'm just not feeling you. Zach, you're the one I want. But Zach has moved on for a while now. For like, two seasons and a spinoff. He's moved on. And because he's not going to respond to the letter the way you want him to, you're going to be pissed off and bitchy about it. Episode 6 synopsis is Karen decides to fully turn her wrath on Zach. Meaning that Zach isn't going to respond to that letter the way she wants, and she's going to go off on him. And then as a result of her constantly chasing him, that's going to lead to Fatima acting even bitchier to Zach. That's how it's going to go down. So, it goes back to what I've been saying about Miss Lisa. Okay, you're going to let Karen put it all out there, but are you going to allow Aaron and Zach to also speak their feelings and their truth? I feel like this is just a situation where Karen is the one who gets to talk and everybody else has to listen. And she tells her mom, like, well, I tried to tell him already. I've already told him how I feel. No, you haven't. You have yelled at them. You have talked down to them. You have never had a conversation with them. It's just like when Preston tells Danny about how, look, we need to talk. Preston, we've already talked. We've already said what needs to be said. No, we didn't talk. You would just, make snide remarks and change the subject, and you wouldn't listen to me when I talk. We never had a conversation. That's Karen. Like I said, she's going to be the one who's coddled. She's going to be the one to say what she feels, but if nobody else is going to be able to speak their mind, and if they don't respond to her feelings the way she wants to, then she's going to lash out. So folks, if you think that Miss Lisa is helping the situation, which in her own way I feel like she is, but my thing is this: fine, if you want Karen to put it all out there, do it. But when Karen starts going back into bitch mode, Miss Lisa better be there to check her. That's what I want to see. If you're not going to allow Zach and Aaron to speak their truth and whatnot about the situation, then it's worthless and a waste of time. Okay, so then we go over to Andy I think Danny goes over to the penthouse. She's on the phone getting more info, and it's not good. She has Robin to call, but she can't because he's over in London in court right now. So he has to, get out of court before she can even call. But it's not looking good due to the fact that they have Maurice giving a confession on tape. Danny reveals the little bit that she does know about Calvin and Maurice, harboring the criminal in their apartment, Q, because she doesn't know all that much. So there's really nothing they can do. Their hands are tied at the moment. Their hands are tied. So then we go over to the final scene at the gym, and this is when things really hit rock bottom. So Deja shows up looking fine as hell, and she flirts with Zach, and Fatima, it's funny because she has the earbuds in, but she literally slams her machine. What was it, like the pull thing she was using? She lets that go and just goes over to confront Deja because Deja's flirting with Zach, saying like, oh, my sink, or what was it, her sink or her toilet is like stopped up, and she wants Zach to come over there to look at it. And then Fatima calls her out. It's like, are you messing stuff up only to have Zach come over there and fix it? Oh no, I wouldn't do that. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, this is loose continuity, because remember her unhooking her own car battery after Zach and Fatima got engaged to try to, see him, but Fatima called her out for it. So yeah, I'm like, different continuity, whatever. But as soon as Ian gets name dropped, that's when I'm like, yeah, this isn't making sense at all. But regardless, we go over to Fatima, barking loud enough for Deja to leave, but Aaron comes up and he wants to talk. Now, I've had interesting discussions about this based on a post I made on Facebook about how I felt about Aaron approaching Zach. Now, for me personally, I completely agree with Zach in terms of Aaron talking about keeping Karen stress-free, when it's like, look, I have nothing to do with her being stressed out, because here's what I said. Thankfully, I made these lengthy posts because I already know what I need to say. I got to say, Zach was at a 12 and he needed to bring it down to like a 4 in this scene. Aaron was trying to approach him as politely as possible while being mature about it. He mentioned that, maybe we can talk and work things out to not stress out Karen. But side note, first of all, Aaron needs to listen to everybody around him about giving Karen space, stop popping up, because her blood pressure went up because of him. And then, of course, she got on the phone yelling at Zach and Fatima, which didn't help. But yeah, Aaron, for someone who's trying to help Karen, he's doing more harm than good. But like I said, this is why in last week's episode, we needed that scene where Miss Lisa took Aaron outside of the hospital room to talk with Aaron. That's what we needed to see. But in any case, Aaron mentioned, okay, so yeah, Zach is 100% in the right about mentioning, look, Karen is bringing on stress by herself, her own actions. I'm trying to live my life. She's the one popping up at the house all the time. She's the one blowing up our phone, going off. That's all Karen. I ain't got nothing to do with that. So what if the baby's yours? So what if it is mine? What does it have to do with you? Good point. Because look, if Aaron and Karen were together, that would make more sense, but they're not. It's the fact that, Aaron is being a bit intrusive, but at the same time, he does seem to be coming from a good place. I will give him that. But yeah, his motivations, I'm still not sure what they are. But like I said, this isn't a co-parenting thing because, like I said, number one, we don't even know if this is Zach's child. Number two, Aaron, Karen isn't your girl. She's not your woman. If you were together, yeah, it would be like, yo, I want to step to you as a man. Like, if this is your baby, I just want to make sure everything's cool. That's it, Zach. So yeah, Zach is just trying to live his life, but people keep, getting on his nerves. What I felt when Zach went out of line is like, yeah, I thought it was worth a shot. Yo, man, I don't know if I'd use that word because people always get shot when you're around. And I'm like, Zach, that was cruel because remember his wife committed suicide. And then, of course, Fawn's brother got shot by Karen for, obviously breaking in, trying to kill her. So it's just one of those things where Zach, he was just, he was doing too much. Because what was it the other day? I had a conversation with somebody about the way Zach was, boasting at the basketball court. It's like, yo, we play basketball together. No, we don't play basketball together, bro. We were just there at the same time. Again, Zach, you're just being a bit too rough. Again, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm not saying you and Aaron got to be friends, but you ain't got to fly off the handle that much. That's all I'm saying. Like, I get where he's coming from, but he could have brought it in just a little bit. That's just me. And then this is when shit really hits the fan. Fatima just goes on and on. Oh, do you still love Karen? Why do you get worked up? Now, this is the subject of debate because some people are like, you know what? Fatima's right. You know, if his ex is mentioned, for him to fly off the handle like that, he must still have feelings. In my opinion, no. Zach is fed up. He has moved on. He is trying to live his life. But he's constantly being reminded of who he was. He's constantly being pestered about Karen. People want to say, well, yeah, well, that's Zach's past. And, you know, Fatima's ex doesn't. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, folks. Ian isn't popping up in Fatima's life the same amount of times Karen is for Zach. Ian isn't blowing up Fatima's phone the way Karen does to Zach. Ian doesn't have friends who keep constantly popping up to Fatima asking, hey, are you still in love with Ian? Are you still in love with Ian? And the list goes on. Basically, Ian is not as large or as common a presence in Fatima's life as Karen is to Zach. So it's understandable why he gets bent out of shape whenever she's mentioned because of everything that's going on right now in his life, from possibly being the baby daddy to Danny. Oh, are you still in love with her? Are you still in love with her? And then to have your new woman that you love, and even though in this continuity is unclear if they're engaged or not, I'm going to say they're not engaged yet, to constantly have his commitment to Fatima questioned, he's going to get upset. So for her to just go into straight, it's my way or the highway, kind of like, well, when I ask you a question, you're going to answer it when I want you to answer it. And then Zach claps back correctly. So when I want to talk, like this morning we were getting ready for the gym, when I want to talk about Karen, it has to be when you're ready for it. It can't be when I want to talk about it. But when you want to talk about Karen, I have to be ready. Whether or not I want to talk about it or not, I need to shut off my feelings and just talk about it. And that was complete bullshit. So you can say Fatima is right all you want to, but I don't understand that way of thinking at all. It makes no sense. That is bullshit. I don't care what you tell me. Fatima was completely out of pocket. She's being hostile. She's being like Karen. So when Karen is brought up like 50 times in 30 seconds, her name is being dropped, you have Zach mistakenly calling Fatima Karen, and then that's the end of the episode. You know why? Because Fatima was acting just the fuck like Karen. The way Fatima was talking down and, you know, bossing Zach around, that's the same shit Karen does. You can argue with me on Twitter, you can say I'm wrong, but you know damn well I'm telling the truth. This was a horrible way to write Fatima's character. And that's the end of the episode. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.